to thank you guys for being in his life again. And it hasn't hit me at all that he's gone. I don't think it's going to hit me for a long time, and once it does, I think that's when it's going to get hard for me. I know you guys were all close to him, so whatever you guys can tell my parents, I would love to hear the stories again, especially to them. So. And the bad and the good, so we all know he had his,
there was no bad.
His little spurts. So. Yeah. It's really hard.
Mark was my best friend. I prayed for years that God would just give me an older brother, which physically is impossible because I'm the oldest kid in the family. But I needed an older brother with all the things I went through. And then when God gave me Mark, it was like everything was complete. And he called me his little sister. And I'd always call him my older brother. He cried with me when things were hard. And he laughed with me when things were good. He protected me from a lot. His last words to me were paragraphs of not falling back in the world, but leaning on the Lord. And if I ever got tempted, just to call him, and he would help me and pray for me and fast for me. Mark was the best friend that anyone could ever ask for, and he kept me close to Jesus. Anytime I started falling, he would just hold me tighter and bring me closer to God. He loved Jesus Youth, and he talked about it all the time. He wasn't scared to evangelize. He would be out in public, he'd start speaking in tongues. He'd be at stoplights on his bike, and he'd be signaling people to roll down the window and pray for them. He didn't care about what people thought about him. He just wanted to tell everyone about who Jesus was, and he inspired me to be way more bold with evangelizing and with worshiping in public, speaking tongues where it doesn't make sense, and just bringing glory everywhere he went. I'm so thankful for having him in the short time that he was with me. He meant everything to me. I loved him so much. And him being my brother makes all of you guys my family, so I love you guys a lot. I'm here for you.
It's almost like he had a second life. Almost like.
Сын, у него очень много хорошего. И это, конечно, недостойно.
I'm surprised I haven't met a lot of you guys. I've been working a lot, so I think that's a big reason why. But I'm grateful for what you guys gave to me. And I'm thankful you guys are here.
When I was gone for 6 months, 8 months, right? I used to be a severe drug addict. Used to be very bad in the world. And I gave my life to Christ in January. And the first day I got back, because I was in Florida, the first day I got back, I see Mark. He's the first one that comes up to me. And at the time, he was grieving with a lot of things. He was like stuck with a lot of emotional baggage. And he comes up to me and smiles and starts like saying so many sweet things about me. Like he's like, "Bro, I can't believe you changed so much. You look so much better. You stepped out of the world. Like there's a brightness coming off of you." And he was just like filling my life. And it just like the biggest thing about Mark is that he did not put himself first. He always put himself second. He always cared about you before he cared about himself. And that's genuinely what he did. And then when I got back, truly, the first day I got back, because I flew back from Medellin, landed in Orlando, and I drove down and went street preaching. First person I saw was Mark, and he was out there preaching the good word, like everything that God has been doing in his life, the blessings. And after that, like, I just continued having him in my life. He just continued every day to be in my life. He would stay at my house. He would use my shower, use my clothes. He was just such a big blessing. And whenever he was like, because he had an hour drive, I would never let him drive his bike at night. So I would say, just come over, stay the night, like sleep at my house. Like, I don't want you to be there. Like, I don't want you driving in the dark. I want you to be here. I see your tires are like his tires were molded to the point where you can see the wires. And I'm like, no, you're staying here. You're not going nowhere. And yeah, I really wish I just continued preaching to him how important it is to just be stable in the Lord. But something that we kind of, because I was with him 24/7, something that we kind of adopted into riding our bikes is that we prayed before we got on our bikes every time. Huh? Yes.
And if you guys don't know, this is Mark's dog right here. Her name is Prada.
And Mark's little brother, William.
Me and Mark we went to Tennessee on motorcycles from South Carolina to Tennessee. And I told him 100 times, thousands of times that if I would drive slow, like you have.
Boy.
Hey, she's a blessing. She got hit by a car not too long ago, so. Put her down.
She looks like she's perfectly fine. You talking about putting down?
She has a scar on the side, and me and Mark let her off the leash one time. She ran in front of the road. And that's the biggest fight we both ever had. That's like punches. We're throwing hard punches.
Вивезли госпіталя просто, що мене руки ложили і молили. Це треба було видіти.
She was crying. She didn't move for a week. We thought we were gonna see her go, but she came back. She's not a regular dog either, guys. She's different. She listens to you very well.
I told you he loved Milo.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep it short and simple, but when I first met Mark, it was at Emmanuel Church. He came at me with open arms, and one thing I knew, he clicked with me. I really got along with him, and he was the only person to invite me to places. And when he invited me to Jesus Youth, I was very, very uncomfortable and very nervous because I didn't know anyone. I didn't know what kind of community it might be over there, but I took my chance because Mark would not take no for an answer. That's the one thing I remember. He would not hesitate, and I gave in. I went to Jesus Youth that one time, and if it wasn't for him, I met so much good people over there that it pains me to see him gone, but he's in a better place now, and I worship all for him.
Very accepting. I remember his 18th birthday. The first thing he did was invite all of us to go paintball. It's like, I barely knew him. I knew him for like a couple of, y'all let's go paintballing, yo. For our 18th birthday. We all went together. Pops into the back of, I think it was David's Forerunner. We're barely all fit, you know. When he still had his long hair, his crazy hair.
The dreads.
Cornrows.
Mark or David?
Mark.
Mark.
Got his long hair.
Can I get that one?
If you do, hold her. They're getting used to each other. She's fine, but she's still getting used to dogs. You know, like she's scared, but like she'll growl every once in a while. That's fine. Prada.
Get Prada.
Zara, it's okay, Zara.
Hey, relax. That product.
Come here. Come here.
Yeah, pit bulls are very family, like blessed, they're very amazing dogs.
I'll tell you the story of how we got her, man.
I'd love to hear.
Mark was like, hey, I'm gonna get a dog for Christmas. I'm not gonna get him, like, everybody you get, we're just gonna get them a dog. But you're gonna have to pay half. I was like, what kind of dog? He's like, oh, a girl is selling puppies. He's like, I won't tell you, but once we get there, you'll see. But we're gonna get one. I was like, all right. So we take my car. This is while we're in school, so we're taking my car. We go down there. We go to the house, and the door opens up, and I just hear barking. I'm like,
Are you
and
done?
then the first thing that comes up is a big pit bull. I'm like, Mark, we can't have a pit bull. He's like, bro, we gotta go home.
Is that Mark's
And then
Bible?
and he's like, no, this is a friend of mine. Come on. So we go in. We go into the doors, and it's just a big pit bull with the dad, and then the mom. The mom has like a diaper on. There's like babies everywhere.
Poor parents.
And I'm like, looking at them like, our parents. So my parents, we've had dogs before, but never inside, and they've always been kicked out of the house, maybe in like a month or maybe, I'll say longer. Longer than that, right? The longest we've had a dog is probably less than a year. We've had a Rottweiler, a whole bunch of 2-3 dogs. And so I'm like, yeah, we can't get a pit bull. Like, but we were looking at them, and they were just small, so I kind of gave in. I was like, all right, whatever, we're gonna get a dog. We're gonna get a dog, right? If it gets kicked out, it's fine. And so I was kind of fell in love with a little tan one, right? It was a little tan one, because it felt really soft. And he's like, no, we're getting the black one, we're getting the black one. I was like, bro, I took you here, we're getting the tan one. He's like, no, I like the black one, I already picked the black one. And so he beat me, he got the black one, which I'm so happy we did. But we're driving home, right? He has no life, we're driving home, and we're like, bro, before we go, we gotta go to like Winco and get her something, so we go to Winco, she's like, right when we take her, she's already walking with us in Winco. Like, she'll just follow you as a puppy. And so we grab like some dog treats and everything. We're driving home. This is Christmas Eve. We're driving home with the dog, and I'm like, I don't know what's gonna happen. We drive home. We open the door, and the first thing, I have a video because I wanted to see my parents' reaction. The first thing we see is this little kid popping out from the upstairs saying, "It's a dog!" And then my sister, she's like, she starts running down. She's like, oh, it's so cute. What is it? And we're like, it's a pit bull. And she's like, oh, because in my mind, when we got a pit bull, I thought they were just gonna be vicious. I knew my parents weren't gonna like her at all. My mom finally figured out what the dog was after a little bit, and she found out it was a pit bull. And she was fighting to get rid of her. She was fighting so hard. She's like, we're not having a pit bull in the house, it's over. Well, hey, one more day, like 2 days, we just bought her. And so we had her for 2 days, she was good. We had her for a week, and you know, Mark, he brought so much joy into the house with just little crazy things like that. Like, he would just, like, do stuff like that. Just like a dog, you brought it over here. I think they love her more than we do, because I can't name one thing she's done wrong in the house. Like, so she's been the only ever house dog we've ever had, and it's not because yes, no.
Honey,
Yeah, she's been the only pet in the house.
actually right here.
And she'll sleep with Mark. I can't sleep with her because she snores. She snores and she cries when she sleeps. She'll start barking out of nowhere. Just
Does she kick too when she sleeps?
no, she just barks, like not even barks, but whines.
She talks a lot.
And And my brother, he has my dad's sleep, what I'm jealous of, because he'll just hit the pillow.
Nothing's waking him up.
He's going. He's sleeping.
I tried to wake him up once.
He's sleeping. Man, I'll be laying there for 15 minutes until I go to sleep. So, and then one little noise wakes me up.
That's the thing. Once he has a plan in motion, he doesn't stop. He'll make it his own way.
Yeah. So
It'll be a special way.
I'm surprised. I won't lie. 3-4 years later, I'm surprised she's still with us because she's a pit bull and we don't. Yeah.
And it was funny that the dog was so little, so Mark used to carry her. But then we come a few months later, the dog is so big and he's still carrying her. It's funny. Like for him, she was still a baby.
Remember that time that caught a turkey?
Yeah. Just broke my phone.
Still got 10 years in her.
Yeah. She got hit by a car, man. I can't.
She looks perfectly fine walking around.
Oh, one of her rib cages was in. Like it was bad.
Кажу за неї, повністю стали і молились. Я за неї заплатили $600, щоб її $500, щоб її віддали просто.
Yeah, they were gonna put her down, but man, I can't believe he stopped. I can't believe it. And I knew he would take her everywhere too. So I know, like with the little manual meetups and everything, he always had her.
I saw her.
She's a blessing. And she doesn't shed. Thank God.
Milo does.
She doesn't shed. Just a little.
Anybody else wants to share a story about Marek?
And anything. Come on, I heard so much, guys. Come on, don't let me down. Tell my parents. Oh, it turns out Monty was running from the cops a few times.
Sorry, I said too much.
But it was on the 4Runner, not the motorcycle.
Well, a couple times on the bike.
Миша, ты хочешь?
I'm still surprised you didn't know he had a flip blade on that bike.
When Eric was running from the cops, he called Mark.
Oh yeah.
Mark was laughing so hard, and Eric said, "Call Lena," and he's telling Mark, and Mark calls me, and he's laughing so hard I can't understand it. He's like, "Eric's running from the cops," and I was like, "You're joking." Mark's like, "No, I'm serious. You have to go help him." But his laugh was so funny, I literally did not believe him. He always had that laugh that just lightened the whole room. That even Eric running from cops was hilarious in the moment.
Yeah, mistakes were happening.
Миш, ты хочешь рассказать чуть-чуть to everybody about Marek's childhood? How you grew up together? How you went to school together?
Me and Mark growing up, our whole lives we were always at like a competition. Like we were always competition. It's just me and him. Like I have a huge family, lots of cousins, but just me and him, we were always at competition. He would get an RC car, or I would go look around, get something a little bit better. We'd, go through all these trails. And our biggest thing was BMX bikes. But he was better than me at it because he had height. He was more athletic than me. But yeah, it's just everything we do is always competition. Same with cars. We'd always be going, oh, mine's faster. Well, mine's more expensive. Well, mine's this, mine's that. And Mark was, even before he met you guys, because like Anthony said, it's like as if he had another life. Even before he met you guys, like, I don't think he was ever mad at me. Like, he never held a grudge. And that's just crazy, because even like to this day, like he works with me. because he can't really hear and like he can't really see that good, all our coworkers would make jokes, you know, because middle of the day, like someone would just yell, "Mark!" You would look around and everyone's just like working, you know, as if they say anything, so we go back to work. "Mark!" And just like looking around, you know, like we all just mess with him. But, like every day he would come in smiling, "Mishka," I'm like, "Markushka," and then he'll look at my dad, "Olichka," and my dad, you know, just.
No, I call him Markusha.
Yeah, every day, man.
Markusha, you late again.
He was probably late like 99% of the days he came to work, but
Always late.
no, the thing is, he was there. He was there. He was always smiling. Everybody loved him, like no matter what. It was hard working with him because like he got to yell a lot, but he had a big impact on everyone. No matter what, you couldn't hate him. He was just amazing.
A hill is it's a very, very, like, what's the word? The hill is inclined. It's very steep, yes. And so my cousins were over, and for some reason there was a garage sale on the other side. We went to a garage sale. We got a bowling ball for like $2. We got a bowling ball for like $2, right? And so we're like up there, and we'd have like, I think me and Philip was over, he's my cousin, other cousins and everything. We're going down, we're like, hey, somebody's gonna be at the bottom, we gotta see if there's a car, and then we're gonna roll it down. We roll it down like 2, 3 bowls. We're talking about a heavy bowling ball. No,
Like
once you roll it, you're not stopping it.
Is it like maybe 25 pounds?
But it's bold. So we're rolling it down a few times, right? But somebody's at the bottom just to see if there's no cars. We're like, all right, hey, we're done. He goes all the way to the top. We're like, we're done. We sit down on like the curb on the side, and we just see a bowling ball just going super fast. Normally, the hill was so high, we would go down maybe a little more than the middle, because we knew how fast it was going. We went all the way to the top. Let it go. Another reason, it's really hard to get to the top on a bike, so we didn't even want to try. So we went all the way top, and we just see the bowling ball just flying. And our neighbor he's turning in, and our neighbor is right there. Our neighbor is driving in it's a Scion XB. Mind you, there's 2 XBs in our neighborhood. One, they're both white. One is our neighbor, and she's a lawyer. They're both very, very high lawyers. I think one time they made us get rid of our dogs. There's another one whose name is Mark. Is Mark Mikhailets. He's a little older than us. I think at the time he was like 17, 18. And we were like, we all thought it was the lawyer, so we all thought we were screwed. But this thing is flying, and we look, and we see a car driving in through the loop. And we're like, oh no. And that bowling, thank God, my neighbor Mark knows how to drive, because he drifted around that bowling ball like a split second, and it kept rolling. But then my brother comes walking down, and what we didn't know was our neighbor's dad was sitting in the car watching the whole thing. He gets out, and he starts yelling so much. This is while Mark is walking down, but he only sees us. He starts yelling at us so much. And then he sees Mark walking down, strolling down. Bro, he went off on Mark. "I'm gonna rip your ear off. What are you doing?" And Mark is like, "What?" He was, now I'm never, like, he wasn't scared of anything. He wasn't scared of anything. Thank you for coming. Thank you. This thing. He wasn't scared of anything.
I remember, like, we would always go evangelizing on Saturdays, and like, we just go off on his own sometimes, and you just see him talking to the most random people you would ever think of.
Everyone leaves and he's like, yo, where is everybody?
Yeah, and it's like, he's just like talking, you can keep a conversation going for hours no matter like who you are, and it's just, like, he had that charisma to him where he's just, you know, it's just such an incredible person to talk to, and like he was amazing at it. He was a people person for sure. Like there's not a single time where he couldn't keep a conversation going. You know, like conversations dying out. He just like makes it interesting, makes it exciting. And you like, you know, if you're in a bad mood, it's just somehow makes you happy. You know, no matter what you're going through. It's just a good.
His faith is also like insane. Like his hearing, like he doesn't have the best hearing, and he'd always run out to get prayed for. And every time he gets prayed for, not really anything happens, but he'd run out again and again and again. I remember once he's like, bro, Joe, put your fingers in my ears, maybe I'll get healed that way. And like he just had this like radical faith where like just always like went out to get prayed for, even praying for others, doing like expecting like the most from God in a way.
Mark had bad hearing, bad eyesight, back problems, all that. Yet had a heart of gold, always was praying for everybody, always stepping out in faith, always just happy to be alive and just happy to grow with everybody around him. Like that is not something that just comes naturally. Regularly people that go through that are just like blaming the world for everything. But no, he stepped up for everybody. Like he put himself like down here and he put you up here. He always like took you as his priority, and he always thought of you before he thought of himself. Like his family, he always talked about his family. He always talked about Jesus' youth. He always talked about Emmanuel and how much they can, like, what can improve, what can be changed. Like his future, he would always think about like all the beautiful things he had planned. And he was always tenacious. He was always like just so focused on everything. And if he had something set to his mind, he would always do it. Sometimes not done the right way, but he would do it. So he was a guy. He was truly blessed. Truly blessed.
I've always heard about it because I'm close to his relatives in the mission here. And it kind of felt like, you know, I always knew him. And I kind of did. I always known about him. I just never got the chance to meet him. And like 2 weeks ago, we went to this worshiping event. And I saw him for the first time. And I was excited. I wanted to go say hi to him. He was busy praying. We were just leaving from that event, so I never got to meet him, but the first and the last time I saw him, he was praying. And I think he was one of the people that invited us to.
Whatever has happened, ano как-то поменяла вас? Did you guys learn a lesson? Did God speak to you through this story?
Me personally, like ever since I heard of it, every time I see someone in the youth or just a friend or sibling, like I just want to show so much more love so that like I wouldn't really, you know, if they do go, like just feel bad about it, not like just always be able to, you know everyone, how to show love to everyone. In a way, it's like just getting the best out of it, you know? Learning my lesson or what I can learn from it.
You couldn't really ever stay mad at him either. Like he would do those crazy things. He'd be so reckless, you know. You give him a lecture, but then like 5 minutes later, you're laughing with him. You guys are doing stupid stuff together.
No, I could get mad at him.
You can get mad at him, yeah. But it's like,
Really good hype man though.
yeah.
Always hype people. They always loved his worship. He would invite anyone he would see. He'd jump with them. He loved God like he did.
Yeah, I have a video of it, but I think like one of the biggest blessings to him was like the biggest gift he prayed over. Like when he was at Tennessee, he got prayed over by like one of the leaders, the worship leaders. He was so overjoyed. He was so happy. Like he was like, bro, I just got prayed over. I got just slain in the spirit. He was like talking about it all night. He was like so happy. He was jumping with just joy and love. It was so great.
told Mark I was like in a midlife crisis type of deal because my mom was on my back before she like left about like career. She's like, Lena, you're gonna be 19, you don't have a career all figured out. And I went to Mark and I was like, Mark, I don't have a career all figured out, I don't know what to do. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to law school. And I started joking about it. He's like, Eric, we're gonna get into some trouble, Lena's gonna be there to bail us out. And he's like, Lena, you have to be a lawyer now. So I'm officially enrolled going to law school in honor of Mark.
In upstate college.
Yeah.
Mark was definitely one of those people that would highlight those things in you.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it is.
He's trying to make me a truck driver, bro.
This man's Eric can drive.
It's not driving a semi truck.
I know.
It's like whatever you said, it's like he's like, oh yeah, I can see you doing that. You know what I mean? Number one hype for real. So ambitious too. Remember, he's like always, he was calling me because I do, we do car rentals. He's like, what car should I get? Bro, I want to work with you, this and this and that. He's like, oh shoot, yeah, I'm gonna get this car. He called me a few days later, hey man, insurance is way too high on it. He's like, give me a year, you know?
Especially with his insurance.
He was like, oh dude, I'm gonna get this Jeep Trackhawk. I'm like, alright, bet. Work. He texted me a few days later, like, bro, I got the quote for it, $100 a month. Screw that. Whoa. GG, man.
Yeah, expired license. The way he drives his BOZ. Oh, man.
He would take risks.
Well, he was a risk taker, that's who he was, and he loved it.
He's talking about. He would be driving with nothing. Nothing. Man. He'd be pulled over a few times.
Not even gas.
Not even gas. And he got pulled over a few times. He was like, hey, man. I was like, just wear like a good suit to court at least. He comes out stylish, like a little what's it called, a little button up with the little things coming out like a cowboy, the little ripped jeans. I'm like, bro, what are you doing?
He loved his ripped jeans.
Don't tell me that's when he had his braids.
Oh man, come with little sneakers. Like you're trying to look. I'm like, bro, you're trying to look normal. Like you're not doing anything bad. Not like a little kid, man. Not like a teenager. He would do the same thing with driving interviews too. So I learned to come in with a little suit and tie. He went in for one job interview. He got the job. It's because of my uncle. But he came in there looking terrible. I read his job resume. Oh my goodness.
He had all the confidence in the world though. He was not scared.
He didn't, oh man. Came in with the baddest resume I've ever seen. It was so bad. But he got the job.
Lucky he has a lovely uncle.
I remember all the late night conversations, and he'd be joking around saying, Lena, I gotta wake up soon, you gotta let me go to sleep. But we would just have the deepest conversations, and he'd always have the best advice. And he'd still wake up and get to work a little late, but he still made it.
He was never surface level.
100%. There's something deeper to him.
Like even his compliments at the soul, bro. I swear.
Always walk up to me like, bro, you look so good. Like let me wear that outfit.
It's a nice shirt. We have it.
Yeah.
The most scariest thing to me is that he's sitting in my room next to my closet knowing full he's gonna come out in the morning with something on. Just walk out the front door.
One of my favorite memories with this kid was, as kids, we would watch that little TV show we were supposed to watch called Spetsnaz. And so watching that with my dad, he had little Nerf guns, put on shirts on our heads, like, and we would be like playing around in people's in their neighborhood's backyard. In the neighbor's backyard, like we'd be jumping fences and tipo Spetsnaz, tipo, hey, there's a guy over there, get down, blah, blah, blah. You know, I think we jumped into one and they had a husky. You know, we started running, we ran out of there so fast, we jumped over the fence and we started laughing. And it was funny. We had two neighbors right next to us. There was two girls, Victoria and Emma. And we would get them into it too, man. We would be playing around.
Хотел вам родителям сказать, если какая-то помощь вам нужна, если в чем-то есть нужда, мы все знаем, как либо на машину работать, либо продавать, либо какие-то там документы, если надо помощь, дайте знать. Если там сколько не надо помощь, дайте знать. Мы только за.
Yeah. Please don't be shy to ask, especially Jesus youth too. Like, if you come by, definitely. Like, we have service, yeah, Emmanuel too. Like, we have service Friday for Jesus youth. We have service Sunday. Like, we're all his family. We're all your family.
Yeah, please come.
Just please come. Like, don't lock you guys. Don't lock yourself up. Please come here. We're here for you guys because we know it's rough. We know how tough it is to lose somebody dear to you.
Jesus, we love you. Oh, how we love you. You are the one hearts adore. Jesus, we love you. Oh, how we love you. Mighty love is the most beautiful among thousands and thousands. Mighty love is the most beautiful among thousands and thousands. Power yours is the glory forever. Amen. Yours is the kingdom. Yours is the power. Yours is the glory forever. Amen. Yours is the kingdom. Yours is the power. Yours Совершенство Твое не меняется. Я ценю каждый миг жизни с Тобою. Ты бессилие мое утираешь ресниц, наполняешь меня верой живою. Я предвкушаю красоту поклонения. Я воздеваю руки к Тебе без страха и сомнения. Совершенный Бог, поклоняюсь я святостью Своей. Освяти меня теплотой согрей, силой одари. Ничего не сильнее Твоей совершенной любви. Совершенство Твое не имеет границ. Я ценю каждый миг жизни с Тобою. Ты бессилие мое утираешь ресниц, наполняешь меня верой живою. Я предвкушаю красоту поклонения. Я воздеваю руки к Тебе без страха и сомнения. Я предвкушаю красоту поклонения. Я воздеваю руки к Тебе без страха и сомнения. Совершенный Бог, поклоняюсь я святостью Своей. Оцени меня теплотой согрей, силой одари. Ничего не сильнее Твоей совершенной любви. Совершенный Бог, поклоняюсь я святостью Своей. Оцени меня теплотой согрей.
Heavenly Father God, and he's joyful, Lord Jesus, because he knows that he's left a good impact, God. And as far as I know, that no one has anything bad to say, Lord Jesus, and that is a man that is pure, Lord Jesus. Heavenly Father God, we're thankful, Lord Jesus.
If I could describe Mark in 3 words, it would be zealous, joyful, and selfless. I've never seen him without a smile. No matter the distance, he would go anywhere for the Lord. He was always ready to drop everything and serve. He loved his community and he loved fellowship. I think everyone can say that they felt really loved by him.
Mark was a reflection of God's love. He was extremely inviting and encouraging and always made sure everyone felt included. He was in love with the Lord and he loved people genuinely. Every time I saw him, he encouraged me, and I know that he prayed earnestly for me and those around him.
I always knew Mark as a fearless man of God. Not too long ago, when he just got his bike, I told him how stupid it was and how dumb bikes are. After I finished telling all this, he smiled at me and he said, "Okay, I don't care." It caught me off guard. I asked him why he wasn't scared of what he meant by that. And short and simply, he just said death. He doesn't care if he died. I continued telling him all these consequences and how he's not valuing his life, and after some time he just stopped me. He's like, "Emma, wait. I live doing what I love, evangelizing and riding my bike. I'm living my dream. And if I die, I'd go to heaven. That's the only thing that's better." I was speechless because I couldn't argue with him. Since the first time I met him, I recognized the boldness and bravery in his eyes. He would worship louder than everyone else, and his hands were up higher than anyone's. I looked up to him. I wanted to have that fire that he had. Mark was loved and cared for by everyone. I'm sad that his life was taken before his time, but glad he's rejoicing in heaven. He'll always and forever be remembered.
Mark was an amazing man. We all loved him. We loved him a lot. So I was close to him. Actually, when I moved here about 2.5 years ago, he was one of the first people that I was friends with. So I knew him for a bit, and it was amazing to see his transformation of whenever he was lukewarm. But it was amazing to see him experience the presence of God for the first time, and how excited he was about the Lord, and how excited and passionate he was about God. He became very passionate about ministry, about serving, and he put all of his life into that. He spent all of his time in church and evangelism and just ministering to people. He was really putting it all, and it was amazing. But not only that, he had such a great character. He was always fun. He was always a very funny man to be with, to hang out with. And it's gonna be very missed. It's gonna be very missed, but we'll all see him sometime soon.
I knew Mark for maybe 1 or 2 years of my life, so not too much, and I wasn't the closest person to him. But for the short time that I knew him and for the short conversations that we had, he was such a wonderful, Holy Spirit-filled, joyful, loving, and handsome man. Truly, I had zero bad memories with him. Every conversation, every time that I saw him at church, especially seeing him repent after his sister passed away, was a beautiful thing. I saw him repent. I saw his entire characteristics change, his mood. He was smiling, he was loving. Mark was a wonderful man. He left an impact on my life for sure. And I'm gonna miss him, but it makes me feel better that he's in heaven. He's with God and he's with his sister.
Yeah, Mark was a man of boldness, you know. He had no fear to just go up to random people on the street and share the gospel. Like, he was absolutely passionate for God. You know, no matter what it was, if it came to God, he was bold for the Lord. You know, whether that was desiring to evangelize or going to any church event anywhere, whatever it would be, he would never miss anything. And he was a man of love, was just always there for people, always smiling, you know, never missed anything, you know.
You could always tell when Mark was in the room. He always made his presence known. He was always happy, he was always joyful, he always had a smile on his face. And he was never afraid to share if there was a problem or if he was going through something, and he would always come up to get prayer or anything of that sort. Mark was the most pure person that I knew. Everything that he said, anything that he said, it was always pure. It was always straight to the heart. He shared his dreams, visions with me. He told me that he wanted me to be a part of them, and I promised that we'd get there one day. And he was always trying to move forward. He was always busy with work. The most dedicated man that I know to his job. He was always working, never took a day off. He only took days to get off of work, to go to conferences, to youth. He would always work. A really busy man, and when he was in the room, you could tell that he was in the room. We love you, Mark.
Mark was a really good person. I met him about a year and a half ago. He helped me a lot with my addictions. He talked with me anytime that I need help. He was always there for me. He was a really hype person, a really nice guy, and we're gonna miss him. We love him. One thing that calms us down is that he's now in a better place, so rest in peace, my boy.
Mark was nothing short of an honor to share life with. He was a ray of sunshine in everyone's life. He shared love, he shared joy. And it was easy to share your life with him, to share your wins, to share your losses. It was a joy watching him grow in the Lord, watching him grow in the faith and in his passions. And in everything he did, passion followed and boldness followed. And in months leading up to his death, you can see how his boldness and his faith and his passion increased for the Lord. And it was nothing short of a joy and an honor watching him grow. And I think I can speak for everyone else when I say that it breaks the hearts of many, including mine, seeing his passing. And it's a solemn reminder of the fact that life is short. Be passionate, burn while you can, while we have the time on this earth. And so Mark's life is a reminder of joy, of love, but it's also a reminder that tomorrow is not promised. And we will hold every memory deep in our hearts of Mark. Our solemn condolences are with the family in this grieving time.
Mark was like a brother to me. When I came back from Medellin, after my missions trip, me and him got very close. Like, I saw him street evangelizing, and he was such a genuine person, like genuinely on fire for the Lord, and he had so many beautiful plans, like for Jesus Youth, Emmanuel, like his family, his work, like the things he was pursuing. I really wish I got to move forward with him in the future, and it was just such a blessing to have him in my life. Like, he just put love, happiness, compassion, everything, and just helped me just continue pushing on no matter what happened. I'm jealous, honestly. Like, he's in such an amazing place right now. I'm still here, but I just wish for everybody that was around him that to continue pushing on, because I know that's what he would want us to do. And I'm so happy that I even got to know him.
I want to start by sharing the impact Mark had on my life. It always drives me seeing him so zealous for the Lord and striving to help people, striving to heal people, deliver people. I mean, it was truly an inspiration. He was our front row warrior, and it's sad to lose one of them, you know? But the truth is that he's in heaven right now, and he's in a better place than we are. And you just know, like, knowing his energy, knowing the way he was, you know he's getting hyped with the angels right now. You know he's rejoicing and praising God, and I can't wait to meet him again.
Mark was a very special person in my life and in many others. He always cared about others, and his name really matched his name. He definitely left a mark on many people's life. Even on Friday at prayer, one of the older folks, he came up to a group of us that were talking, and he said, you know, every time Mark would see somebody, he would say, hey, nice shoes, or nice rubashka, you know? He was always very intimate with the person in his conversations and just very close and personal.
I just wanted to say that I loved Mark a lot. He was a very special person in my life. Last year I was dealing with a lot of past hurt and just bitterness and unforgiveness towards people, and he was one of the few people that I felt like I could share all of that with, and he was just always there to pray with me and for me. And
Mark was honestly probably the purest guy I've ever known, one of the sweetest guys I've ever met in my life. I still remember our first conversation in the old building when I first met him, because my mom kind of pushed us together. Even from the first conversation, he's instantly like caring about how I feel and asking me like what I want to do, where I want to go. Like, the first thing he ever says to me is like, what do you want to do next week? So even from the first conversation all the way up until the last, it's always planning for the future with other people in mind. So it just kind of sucks to see him go.
Mark, we deeply honored you for who you were. You truly were an inspiration to us. When I looked at you, you always challenged me, and your zeal for God just made everybody want to do more for God, and just your hunger for Him, your hunger to do more for God. It was just so beautiful seeing that in you. And I really just honor you, the impact you left on each and every one of us. My heart rejoices knowing that you're in heaven, and I can confidently say that just from seeing your lifestyle, seeing how you live for God, and it's beautiful, and we deeply miss you.